Which test is used to test the hypothesis of the Spearman correlation coefficient? T-test. अब now Kendall-Tau correlation coefficient. Same question. Which parametric test is used to, first, which Greek letter is used to show the Kendall-Tau correlation coefficient? This is known as the tau. Clear?
The first one is wrong.
Which Greek letter is used to show the Kendall-Tau correlation coefficient? Tau. Yes.
Finish? Why don't you finish?
Not finished, doctor.
سعد ما السؤال والله ما ادري وين
لماذا يرمز التاو؟
So I have finished the whole problem. Non-parametric test. Tau is a non-parametric test used to measure the ordinal association between measured quantity. So now it exhibits the relationship between the two variables. Okay, class. So now what is the correct formula of the Kendall-Tau? A. C minus D divided by n minus 1 divided by 2. Clear? Where C is the number of concordant pairs, D is the number of discordant pairs, N is the number of observation, and T is the total pairs. Suppose, brother, this question is given in examination. I ask you, what is the value of the concordance? How many number of the concordant pair? How many number of the discordant pair? How many number of, okay? What is the value of the Kendall-Tau?
First class is discordant or cordant. We leave it. How come?
فرس الرينج
Are you give only your table?
This is your question.
Yeah, this question.
Okay. First question is, what is the null hypothesis?
Yes.
Okay. How many number of the concordance pair is here? You count here. Define. You know how to find out the concordant
Or
discordant?
to this board that you see, follow now. Follow. You say up to 3 pages, 4 pages maybe.
Here how many number is given? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6, 7, 8.
7, 8. In examination I will give you 4 number, 5 number. Easily you can find out how many number of the concordant pair, discordant pair. Clear? Now here, how many number of the concordant pairs? At the last we find out here. Total number of the concordant pair 1. Discordant pair is 27. Okay? What is the value of the Kendall-Tau? You substitute the value in the formula and find out the result. What types of the correlation? Very high and positive correlation. What is your decision? What is your conclusion? Clear? Clear or clear?
Give us multiple choice, yeah?
All multiple choice. Next question in examination. What is the value of test statistics Z? Or which test is used to test the hypothesis of the Kendall-Tau correlation coefficient? So brother, to test the Kendall-Tau correlation coefficient, we use the Z test.
This 4 candle.
The Z test. Z test is what? Tau upon standard error of T. So brother, we use this formula. Or I can ask you, what is the value of standard error? This is the formula of standard error. With the help of standard error, you find out the Z value. Okay. After that, you write your decision and conclude.
for candle you use Z. So,
Z.
but for Pearson and Spearman,
Pearson and Spearman, we use T-test.
T-test.
Clear?
Yes, yes.
Kendall, Z.
Candle
test.
Z.
Clear?
Okay.
Now, baki question.
But question for this.
First, what is the null hypothesis? Second, how many number of the concordant pairs? How many number of the discordant pairs? What is the value of the Kendall-Tau correlation coefficient? Clear? Next is which test is used to test the hypothesis of the Kendall-Tau? What is the value of the standard error of the Kendall-Tau? What is the value of the test statistics Z? What is your decision? What is your conclusion?
Maybe 7 or 8 tasks.
Yes. If you give the 8 question class, not MCQ was 8 questions this year. Okay? What is this Kendall tau finish? Now here, point biserial correlation coefficient. What is the formula of the point biserial correlation coefficient?
Point.
What? Coefficient. Measure the strength and direction of association between one continuous variable and one binary variable. Pearson correlation, Spearman correlation, Kendall-Tau correlation, point biserial correlation. The point biserial correlation measures the strength and relationship between the one continuous variable and one binary variable. Clear?
One continuous variable and one.
Binary protectomanious variable. Clear?
The use, no?
Yes. What is the formula of the point biserial correlation? This is the formula. What you know that this is M1 mean of continuous variable coding 1, mean of coding 0, standard deviation of the entire continuous. Like this question you can solve. Clear? Now come to the phi coefficient. Which correlation coefficient measure the association between two binary variables? Phi coefficient. Which correlation coefficient measure the association between two binary variables?
It's phi.
This is the phi. Clear? What is the formula of the phi? U. Very well. Now, if the phi equal to 0, there is no correlation between the two binary variables. Phi more than 0, positive correlation between the binary variable. Phi less than 0, negative correlation between the binary variable. Which test is used to test the hypothesis of the phi coefficient? Answer is chi-square test.
Again, what?
Which test is used to test the hypothesis of the phi correlation coefficient? Answer is clear?
Chi-square.
Chi-square test. What is the relationship between the chi-square and the phi coefficient? What is the relationship between the chi-square and phi coefficient? Brother, chi-square equal to n multiply phi square.
And phi correlation, huh?
What is the relationship between chi-square and phi coefficient? Correlation.
Okay.
This is the relationship. 4 option is given. You take. If I give
This
this
is the answer.
yes, chi-square is equal to n into phi square. Class?
Relation between chi-square and phi.
Yes. Now, this question is related for phi coefficient correlation. Okay. How many degree of freedom should be used for this test? How much?
N minus.
Chi-square.
A, B.
How many degree of freedom? Column minus 1 into row minus 1. So here how many column? Wahid Adne. Okay. Row 1, 2. So now how many degree of freedom should be used here? R minus 1 into C minus 1. So 2 minus 1 into 2 minus 1. So 1 into 1 we use the 1 degree of freedom.
Your question is degree of freedom.
How much degree of freedom should be used for this test? Clear?
You give us the table.
I will give you this table
Yeah.
and ask you how much degree of freedom should be used for this test. Clear?
C30.
Now partial correlation coefficient. In partial correlation coefficient, first, what is the range of the partial correlation coefficient? -1 to +1. correlation coefficient.
Again, this one.
Yes,
No. Slide.
this is the range. 79. What is the range? Partial correlation coefficient. What is the, suppose the correlation coefficient between height, weight, age, height is given. R12, R13, R23 is given. And I ask you what is the value of the partial correlation coefficient? Clear?
Again.
Suppose here,
Oh,
this is question, okay? Now here, R12, 23, 13 is given, okay? Understand or no?
no.
Brother, this is, we calculate R12.
Okay.
In examination question is given the correlation coefficient between weight and heart rate is given minus 1.08. And correlation between weight and age is given 0.178. And correlation coefficient between the heart rate and age is given 0.583. What is the partial correlation coefficient?
Between age and height.
What is the partial correlation coefficient between the heart rate and weight while age is controlled? While age is controlled.
X1, X2.
Clear? So now here age is third variables. So now you write here partial correlation coefficient formula R12.3.
This is the answer.
No, this is formula used. Substitute the value in this formula, you find out your result. Okay? It is very big.
I'm not very good.
Clear? Equal to.
From where to 12.3?
He is saying 1, 2, 3. Why we keep here 3? He said controlling the age. So age is variable number 3 in question. So I write here 3. R12. First, what is given here?
اسمه كذا يا سعد R12 مش
R12.
أيوة،
Clear?
R12.
So now I write here R12 first minus R13, R23. This one 13 square. So now what is the question? Heart rate.
As the formula or not?
In the question, brother, X1 is weight, X2 is heart rate, X3 is age. He said find the correlation between weight and heart rate X2 while controlling age X3. So now here relationship between X1 and X2. So R X1 X2 controlling age X3. Here R12 oval right here R12. Now relation 1 with 3, relation 2 with 3. So R12 R13 divided by under root 1 minus R12 square into R1 minus R123 square. Clear? Very easy. Okay? So now I ask you what is the correlation coefficient. What types of the correlation? Moderate, weak, high. This one. How many degree of freedom should be used for this test? Degree of freedom, how to calculate? Here, degree of freedom equal to n minus 2 minus k. K is number of the variable control. One variable control, two variable control. Here, control one variable, controlling age. So now degree of freedom, n minus 2 minus 1, n minus 3. N is given 10, 10 minus 3 is 7. Clear? What critical value which test we use to test the hypothesis of partial correlation coefficient? T-test. Or in examination, I ask you what is the value of test statistic T? What is your decision? What is your conclusion? Clear?
This is T-test, huh?
Yes, T-test. This test. Here, value is given between 0 to 0.2 or 0 to minus 0.2. This is a low degree correlation. Value between 0.25 or 0.75, minus 0.25 or minus 0.75. This known as moderate correlation. More than 0.75 and 0.9. Lie between 0 minus 0.75 and minus 0.9. This is high correlation. If plus 9 or minus 9, very high. If plus 1 or minus 1, a perfect correlation. Perfect positive and perfect negative. In examination, I can ask this question. Correlation coefficient is high if it lie between A, B, C, D. I will give this. Clear? Or I give you this value. A correlation coefficient between height and age is 0.8. This correlation is high.
Moderate, low, and high.
Clear? Next and last is multiple correlation coefficient. Brother, similarly here, I will give the value of R12, R13, R23 and ask you what is the value of multiple correlation of X1 given X2 and X3.
So, must be all this equation now. You count all equation. Equation very long.
No, not long. I will give the value of R12, R13, R23. Put the value here and find the answer.
I will give us this.
Yes.
You will give out.
I will give the correlation coefficient R12, R13, R23. Okay? And say find the value of R12. 3. Clear? Or not clear?
You will give us the formula.
No.
يعطينا معطيات ونحسبها بالفورمولا.
Okay.
انت حافظ حافظ.
Now the properties for MCQ type question. Multiple correlation coefficient is the degree of association between observed value of the one dependent variable and its estimate obtained by the multiple degrees. Multiple correlation coefficient lies between 0 to 1, not minus 1. Okay? And if the multiple correlation is 1, then the association is perfect and multiple regression may be said to be the perfect prediction formula.
يا أخ سعيد.
A brother here, I give value R12, R13, R23 and ask you find the value of R123. You know, you check, use the formula. Okay? Okay.